Hello. AJ,
Hi.
hello, AJ.
Hello. How are you, cousins?
So we have a whole bunch of people here.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then we have a whole bunch of people watching so far.
I am so excited and so flattered. I can't believe you guys chose me. Thank you.
Well, thank you for wanting to participate. We're really excited to have you.
Yeah.
I know everybody else is excited too.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of people in the chat. I don't know if you guys who can see the chat, but we have people on YouTube and Facebook watching.
Excellent.
So we have Emma and Azure, Emily, Kay, Tommy, Benjamin, Chris, Greg, Alesh, Steven. Hello, everybody. We're all so excited for this kickoff of the WikiTree challenge. So that's great. I think everybody, I'm going to do it. Woo! So we have Julie here, our usual Julie. We have Mindy, who's the coordinator of the whole WikiTree challenge, and she's also the leader for this week's team. And also Cheryl, who's your co-leader, right, Mindy? Or your
Yes, co-captain. Yep.
Co-captain. I don't know why I call him leader. Co-captain. And then obviously we have AJ, who is our first week's genealogy guest star.
Yay!
Quite a responsibility.
If you guys aren't, so I'll do a quick recap.
What's that?
You just have to sit there and look pretty. That's all you have to do.
Well, sit there. The second part, I don't know, but I will sit here.
So we have 37 people watching. Wow. So we have Cindy from San Diego. Hello, Barb, Mickey, Natalie, and Rick. So I'll do a quick recap of what the WikiTree challenge is. Or Mindy, maybe you want to just really quickly tell us what the WikiTree challenge is before we introduce AJ and then start asking him a question.
Now that we already have introduced him.
Well, nobody really knows who he is yet unless they do know who he is.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them that know who he is. But the WikiTree challenge is we're shooting for a year of accuracy. So for each week that we do this event this year, we'll be focusing on one person's tree, their branches of the tree. This week it's AJ's. I know a lot of people are excited, a lot. We already have over 100 members that have signed up to work on this. So they'll all be contributing out there somewhere.
So yes, so the WikiTree challenge. Cheryl popped out. She's back. She's back.
Here I am.
So AJ, do you want to give us a little quick intro about yourself?
Sure. I am a writer and I am a fan of WikiTree. And I got to know it because I wrote a book, I guess it was like 4 years ago now. There it is. Thank you. Thank you for the plug. Good publicist. Yes, and the book was about the World Family Tree and the movement that you all are spearheading to connect everybody through this massive family tree. And as part of it, I held what I called the Global Family Reunion, where we invited all 7 billion of our cousins to come and have a party. And we didn't get 100% turnout, but we did. In New York, we had 4,000 people, and then there were like 40 branch parties, we call them. And we had speakers like my competition, Henry Louis Gates. Isn't he my competition in this wiki challenge?
Yes. I think next month.
Yeah, and CC Moore. Oh, I'm very nervous. All these people. Oh man. But WikiTree.
You just don't want to get on her bad side.
Oh, I know. Oh no. Yeah, she'll tie me to some murder in 1973. But yeah, this I just want to say, I could not have done. It was such a team effort putting this reunion on, and WikiTree was a huge part of it. Everyone from Chris on down, and Eowyn work. I don't know if she's on tonight.
No, she's not going to be able to make it.
Yeah,
Couldn't make it tonight. She sends her apologies.
Yeah, well, hopefully next week I'll be able to thank her again in person. But she was amazing because she organized so much, and there were volunteers there. But there were so many people who helped track down cousins and build this family tree, and it was, as I say, I am not an expert at genealogy. I mean, I got better, but you guys are. I am definitely minor leagues compared to everyone on this call. So so please have pity on me. I'm a fan, but I am the equivalent of a duffer, I guess, in golf. I don't play golf, but I think that's what they call them. So there you go. But I'm very excited to be part of this, and I'll help in any way I can.
We're glad you're excited.
Am I allowed to help, or is that?
Of course, you're allowed to help.
All right.
So Rick Hill on YouTube. He says that it was from your book, Adri, that he found out about WikiTree.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Rick. Excellent.
He read your book and found out about us. That's great.
Nice.
So I guess if anybody has any questions for AJ, you can start putting them in the chat and we can ask him. But we do have some questions for him to start. So what got you interested in genealogy? What was it, the book, or was it before that got you interested?
I've always been a fan of my family's history because I have I think I got lucky with my ancestors. I got some very interesting ones. My grandfather was a lawyer, but he was very interested in civil rights. So he was Martin Luther King's lawyer. So that was exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
I found out actually after the book came out, and I will track it down, that one of my great uncles was involved in the Teapot Dome scandal. So we were very excited. I don't know if you remember that. I didn't really, but it was a big scandal, and at the time, Warren G. Harding, and my great uncle. I mean, it wasn't like tame stuff. It was like a woman having an affair with the president's head of cabinet. It was pretty spicy. So that was exciting. So I love learning about my family history. But the spark was that I got an email from this man who said, you don't know me. I've read some of your books, but I'm your 12th cousin. And, I thought he was going to ask me to wire $10,000 to his Nigerian bank. But it turned out he's one of, I don't think he's on WikiTree, but he is he's a genealogist. And and I was like, this is amazing that I have this people now, thanks to WikiTree and DNA testing, you can find, your family. If you get bored, if you get sick of your family, don't worry. You've got thousands of people to choose from. So I love this idea. And I guess the bigger message was hopefully once we realize that we are all family, that maybe we'll treat each other with a little more kindness. So that was sort of the hope. And, I know, families don't always get along. But I do think that it has changed my perspective, and I'll just give one example and then I'll be quiet. But I think it was on WikiTree maybe that I found out that Judge Judy, I'd always found Judge Judy really offensive and abrasive and just mean. And I was like, I don't like that woman. But then I found out she's relatively close to me. I'll check it. Something like 6 cousins. And it shifted my perspective. I was like, you know what? She's probably not so bad. She's like, she's just doing her shtick. Underneath, she's probably a good person. So it, rational or not, it shifts my perspective when I realize people are all part of one big family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that, you realize, especially with WikiTree, you can see how we're all connected to each other. So you did mention a couple of your ancestors already. Which would say is your favorite ancestor that you have found?
My favorite ancestor. That is a good one. All right, let me think. Well, I would say I loved reading about my my great grandparents who came through Ellis Island, the classic. They were from Poland, Jewish heritage, and but just learning about how hard it was to come to this country and what they had to, the sacrifices they made, and reading the stories of like hiding in a horse and cart, which had, they hid in the hay from the Russian police to escape, and one of the things that I guess my great grandfather came over first, and he was here for a year and a half and got a job as a peddler and made enough money to send for his wife and kids. And they came over a year and a half later, and they pulled into Ellis Island, and he was not there to pick them up. And because he had missed the train, because his sister wanted to give him a second bowl of soup. That's the family history. So, and my, there were no cell phones. So my great grandmother thought that she had been abandoned. They had to stay in like the Ellis Island jail overnight, until he came the next day. And just these stories, I mean, we're going through a very tough time now, I realize, but learning about the sacrifices my ancestors made, it does put things in perspective.
What were the names of that? What was the name of that ancestor?
That was on the Flug line. So let me, I will email.
Josh said, are you referring to Max and Celia?
Yes, sure. I think that is Max and Celia. You know my family better than I do. Thank you, Josh.
And it was also nice to see how much they excelled once they got here. I mean, you have so many that came to the, United States and wound up being lawyers and, employers and different things, dressmakers.
Yeah, it was, but the first generation was not, they were peddlers, and it was, my grandfather talks about how the icebox was locked. He had an literal evil stepmother who locked the icebox, and he didn't have enough to eat, and he had terrible.
That's crazy.
So, but he made it, and he was one of the kindest men, which is nice. I guess if you have horrible people in your life, you can either, be like them, or you can rebel and try to go the other way. So fortunately, he tried to go the other way.
Very
good. It's a good thing to hear that we have people like that in the world.
Yeah, there are some bad cousins in our family, sadly, but I think the vast majority are not.
Do you have any more? Because I was going to ask if any interesting stories, but you already gave us some interesting stories about your ancestors. Do you have any more maybe controversial ancestors that maybe wound up in
That's a good, yes.
Are you the one who's falling out of the closet?
Well, I definitely, I had a whole chapter on black sheep.
Okay,
there's a guy, Ron, what's his last name? You guys know? He had a company called Black Sheep Genealogy, where he specialized in finding your worst relatives for you. He was a great, and
I don't remember the name. I've heard of that.
What's that?
I've heard the name. I think I know. Ron Ahrens. Does that sound right?
That's it. Ron Ahrens, who's a great character. And he would come to the genealogy conventions dressed in a prison outfit with the black and white stripes and the hat, and like and that was his whole pitch, is he would find you the worst people. And I'm trying to remember. I mean, I was a little disappointed. We didn't get I guess I got a guy who was on my wife's side. Not to sell my wife out, but my wife had
the bus.
on her side, like a guy who was involved in a murder at a drugstore. And but I'm trying to think, what else? Who else was there? I just found out he would be my first cousin once removed, was arrested 72 times. Which I was very impressed that he could rack that up. But it was he was like a protester in the 60s for civil rights. So,
Okay.
Let me think. Who else are our terrible relatives? I'm
We all have our share, I'm sure.
What's that?
But I'm sure we all have our share.
Oh yeah, no, that is true. If you'll have me back, I'm gonna come back next week because you have.
Of course, we'll have you back.
All right, and so I'm gonna do more homework and find some more terrible people.
Well, I'm sure during the week our WikiTrees might find them for you.
There you go. Exactly. Please tell me all of my worst relatives. That would be delightful.
Josh was saying that Max, your ancestor, reported that he arrived in 1892, but later in his petition for naturalization, he claims 1902 and Celia in 1903. So some discrepancy there.
Interesting. What's going on there?
Yeah, I guess he'll hopefully Josh will put that in his
Yeah, we need to track that down. And I will go through also. Everyone can feel, again, as I say, just full disclosure, I am not an expert like you all, but I will happily help. And I do have a family tree that, an old style typed up family tree for my father's side. And I will I can put it on what's the easiest way to share that?
Well, maybe sending it. Mindy, do you want him to send it to you, or if you want to post it on WikiTree? Not sure what would be the easiest way to do it.
I'm not honestly sure it has anything new, but maybe it'll help with clear up any.
Mindy, didn't you have a question about one of his ancestors, a more specific? Which ancestor was that?
I did, and that was Max. And it says, and I know you don't have a lot in that little branched area, it says he was born in Galicia, but do you happen to know a more specific place than just Galicia, or?
I may. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm going to look at all my files. And yeah, if people want to, whatever you think is the best way for people to communicate, they can email me directly, or maybe there's a Google Doc everyone can put their questions on and I can try to answer if I have any information. You tell me what is the...
Right, and we do have a post started in the G2G if you haven't seen it. That's where we have people putting their discrepancies or something cool that they found.
So should I just go on every day and look at the G2G?
Well, people could also send you, because on WikiTree, people are also able to send you a private message if they want, which will go directly to your email. So we could attempt different ways. I mean, if you want to go on and check it daily. Here's part of my family
tree right now.
Hello!
These people are amazing. They're going to be like 50 people working on our family tree to find new relatives, good and bad, and clear up discrepancies.
Is he sneaking up on us?
Yeah, no, he went down to pet the other member of our family, our dog.
Oh.
So regarding the question, maybe it would be a good idea for you to collect a batch of them and send them to AJ so that he doesn't get inundated with.
Right, and
kinds
I
of
can do
messages.
that because I'll be fielding a lot of questions for other things too. So if the members have questions, they can ask me, and then I can just hit you up with a couple of them at a time.
That'd be great.
And I think maybe you should send the your family tree directly to Mindy.
Okay, I will.
Mindy, do you think so?
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just saw that Chris is on here, Chris Witten. So I
Wait,
just
Chris, yes, hello, Chris. He's watching.
he's watching us.
Hi, Chris.
So thank you, Chris. Was amazing. He was an amazing. Like I couldn't have done this project I did for the book without him. So thank you.
And then Stephen was just confirming that that was Galatia, Poland, and not Spain.
Right.
And
we did have a more specific area as far as the port that he came out of. That's being looked into right now. But for his actual birthplace, when we reached out to one of our experts on WikiTree, she said Galatia was just a little bit too big to, look for records, and we needed to narrow that down.
Okay, I will work on that. Yeah, I remember that was a big. There was a whole group of devoted to Jews in Galicia, which I had never heard of before this project. But is it like, I think it's like Hungary and that area now? Is that where it is? Does anyone know?
Austria, Hungary,
Austria, yeah.
whatever they called it when it was all one. And then I actually did a family recently that originated there, and I learned a lot. But yeah, it kept going back and forth.
Now I'm looking at the chat, and yeah, I promise I will clarify who it was who missed the Ellis Island pickup, because maybe it wasn't Max. Maybe I'm confused.
Because there's a lot of conversation about your ancestors right now in the chat.
I love it. And again, I'm embarrassed that you guys know more about my ancestors.
Yeah, the Celia Clara thing for the wives people have been kind of going back and forth on that. And I did notice that when we looked on other trees, on Ancestry and looking on Jenny.com, people had them and they went, oh, they just misspelled Celia, and this was Clara all along. And you look at the records and they're two distinct people.
Yeah, no, I think that was the second. Wait, is this Max Jacobs? Is that Max Jacobowitz? Who is the Max?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So the Flugs was the other side. So Max Jacobs was my father's father's father,
and his wife Celia is the one that you descended from.
Right, and his right. So that would be my paternal grandfather's mother died after he was born, and then the second one, I guess, is Clara. She's the evil stepmother that I was talking about.
Oh, wow! Okay.
Yeah. And you have like 5 kids with her.
Right.
Oh, no.
So they were Jacobowitz. That was Max Jacobowitz. So I was talking. I got confused. The one who had to spend the night in Ellis Island was on the Flug side, which was my father's mother's maiden name was Flug. So
that would be Harry. Is it Harry then?
Yeah, I think it might have been Harry Flug.
Yes.
I will tell you in 1 second because it's actually in my book. So I should know my book better. All right, hold on. Let's look at Ellis Island. I loved researching Ellis Island. That was so interesting.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I have one ancestor who came in through Ellis Island.
You did, or did you have one?
I did, just one from Italy. So.
And I love the little stories that, are already out there and populating your branches, like the one about Theodore Woodrow. I believe he was a Keel.
Yeah, he's the one who was
named after
the King's lawyer. That was him.
Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson.
Right. Yeah, he was named after Theodore, exactly, who I think did not get along. So he was a paradox. His name was a paradox right from the beginning.
Right.
But yeah, they were, and his father, I think it was his father or it was his grandfather, but one of them ran for Congress on the Bull Moose ticket. Teddy
His
Roosevelt.
father did. Yeah, that was Theodore's father.
Mhm.
Okay, so look at this. I
Not
kind
that
of
I've been stalking your branches or anything.
I love that. Please talk away. Oh yeah, I screwed up. Well, in the book, it just says my great grandfather was supposed to pick up his wife and kids at Ellis Island. So I punted in the book on who exactly it was, but I can figure it out if I don't want to waste people's time now, but I will.
It says in the index at least that Harry, because of a bowl of spilled soup, missed his connections to his family at Ellis Island.
So that's Harry Flug, right?
Yeah,
Harry
so it says in the
Flug.
book. I just looked up
All
Flug.
right, so yes, it was not Max. I'm sorry, Harry Flug. There you go.
Because of a bowl of spilled soup.
So there it is. That's right. Yeah, he spilled the soup, so his sister had to cook him a new one. That's the exactly.
That's funny. So what is one of your brick walls, or what is your biggest brick wall you think that you're?
That's a good question. You probably know my brick walls better than I do by this point. But I think on my father's side. Tell me if I'm not looking at the tree right now, but the Flugs, I think, only go back a couple of generations. Like on my mother's side, my mother was the descendant of a famous rabbi named the Vilna Gaon. And because they were rabbis, they kept better records. They had better records of them. So on one side, we have, on my mother's side, we can go back like to the 1700s. But on my father's side, which was not, they were, shopkeepers living in the shtetl. They were not the fancy rabbis. So they do not go back as far. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you for putting that up. Yes, so Harry Flug's parents and such, I don't think I have a lot on, if anything.
Yeah, so it looks like your father's side is more of a brick wall than your mom's side.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully we can help bust that.
You want to show that?
Wait, what did you say, Julie?
There's a great picture of Harry Flug on his profile if you want to pop that up here. He's got
actually.
I love that.
Look at him.
Oh, wow. Look at that. He looks like Bill Murray a little bit to me.
He does.
It does, yeah.
A little something. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, that was another part of researching that I loved was the photographs and just and the lack of smiles was like shocking. I was like, oh, is everyone? But then I talked to, what was the name of the woman who specializes? She's great with photos. I had a section on her in the book, and now I can't remember her name. But she explained
Is she the one that runs Dead Fred?
No, but I like that. No, okay. She's just specializes in tracking down family photos. But she told me it was a very solemn and serious occasion because you didn't get to there. It was a big deal to get a photograph taken. So you weren't in a joking mood. And also, I guess sometimes it took several minutes to. They had to be exposed for several minutes. So
that's why. That's why it. They don't smile in the pictures.
Wow.
And it was also more expensive back then to have a photo taken too. So, I think Mindy was saying some people were asking if you had photos of ancestors that you don't already have on WikiTree.
Right.
I think I do. I do.
And wasn't there a link?
I will upload some from my mother's. My mother my mother's side kept much better records than my dad's side, including photos. So I will try to upload some of those. This woman, Ann Sunstein, so that's my grandmother. Oh, there it is, Maureen. Yes, Maureen, the photo detective. She's wonderful. Thank you, June. But yeah, so I'll upload so that's my grandmother. That's my maternal grandmother, Ann Sunstein, down on the bottom. And there's some good photos of her, including she worked for her college newspaper, and Albert Einstein came to speak. And it was Cornell, so there's a shot of her with Albert Einstein. Oh yeah. Oh, the Kingsbacher. Okay, that's good. That's good. And this, I don't know if this is of interest at all, but there are some great documents like letters. There's a letter to my my great grandma from a doctor yelling at her for taking my grandmother outside and for paying too much attention to her. And he said that would cause her nervousness, that you had to leave kids alone. Like, kids are not to be seen or touched except when being fed. And I was like, wow.
I think people would love that.
Yeah, well, it's certainly easier. I mean, it is. I have kids. That would save a lot of time. But I just don't imagine it's very good.
Well, I guess I more meant people would love to see that letter.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I will definitely get that letter up. So wait, just to clarify again, where should I be? Should I just send these all to Mindy and then you can upload them, or am I upload?
It depends on your time constraints. You know, if you want to upload them to the profiles, you can, but if you don't have time.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll see. But yeah, I'll at the very least, I'll send Mindy as much as I can.
I feel like, okay, so I guess your brick walls are more on your father's side. So what got you into WikiTree? Was it, when you started talking to Eowyn and the book, or did you find WikiTree before then?
I think I just found it through Google, and I reached out to Chris. He might remember more, but I remember reaching out to Chris and saying that, I loved what he was doing, and I wanted to get involved, and that I was an absolute beginner. And he, I think, was the one who connected me to several people. So not just Eowyn, but there were several WikiTreeers who helped.
Oh, so when was that around? Was it like?
Well, let's see. It would have been 2014. Oh, wow. So it was 7 years. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has been a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, WikiTree has definitely evolved since you first joined. I don't know if you've I don't know how active you've been on WikiTree recently.
Well, okay. I will say I spent a bunch of time today, and I was poking around and having a great time. I also am on the WikiTree, I get WikiTree updates to my email. Okay. And so I see the name WikiTree several times a day. So it is very front of mind. Even if I'm not on it, WikiTree is right here. Oh, yeah, WikiTree.
Well, that's good. Yeah. We like to be on everybody's first thought in the morning.
That's right.
It's my first thought in the morning.
It's true. I get my Google Calendar and WikiTree are the two emails I get every morning.
That's fun. So what is your biggest hope to see in this challenge? What do you hope to accomplish to see in participating, besides maybe improving your ancestors a bit on the tree?
Yes. Oh, thank you, Chris. That was very kind. Yeah, I guess I would love any new relatives that you can turn up. I'm fascinated with any new documents and also any errors or discrepancies I'd love to learn about. I know that's not all that specific, but I'm just casting a wide net.
Well, that's fine. Maybe, hopefully, we can maybe break one of your brick walls.
That would be huge.
That would be great.
That would be huge.
I know we're trying to reach out to people who are experts in the area, like Poland and Austria and stuff, to see if we can, people can look at those records over there.
So
hopefully.
Really? So actually,
we're trying. Yeah.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Experts. Interesting. So that would be because I never made it to Poland. I was at one point going to travel to Poland, and then I never did. But
life happens.
Yeah, exactly. I went to see Fiddler on the Roof instead. That was my way of.
Well, we just travel around the WikiTree, and we find all the experts we need. So we've got people looking for Russian experts for you. We've got the Poland and a few other places. So hopefully something comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. I am really excited and flattered. Yeah, I love it. And how does the competition?
I know we have somebody. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have a lag, so I'm sorry. Every time I talk, it just lags. We have somebody who was working on Galicia, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but we have somebody who's started a project there, so she might be able to help find resources to track down that branch of your family.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And one question I forget how there is a competition element to this, right? So how does that work exactly?
Well, Mindy can explain that. She's the
people participating get points for different things. So if they are adding sources, they get points. If they find a new relative and they create it, they get points. If they find a relative that's not attached yet and they attach it, they get points. Some people are really doing it more for the fun of it. So writing biographies, we have people that like to put stickers. If you've seen the stickers on some of our profiles, or put them in categories, which really helps with your genealogy tracking. Just people doing all kinds of things. So,
and what about the competition between like me and Cece? Not that I want to take her on, because as we discussed, you can have me trained.
Well, I don't think there's much of a competition between the stars. I guess. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you want us to create some kind of competition, just W the winner or something.
I'm happy. But no,
we can put a tally board up.
What's that?
Mm-hmm. So we can start a little tally board for the two of you. What do you want to do?
Well, I guess how many points are accumulated for each person? Who gets most points in each?
There you go.
There we go.
That could work.
I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's wonderful. AJ, do you know who in the family changed the surname to Jacobs? I believe that was my grandfather. My grandfather, Charles Jacobs. And I do have that documentation somewhere. It was Jacobowitz, which means son of Jacob, and he just shortened it to Jacobs. And he did it relatively, I believe, and I will double check, that it was in the 20s. So it was not like, he was, I think he was a young man when he did it. It wasn't, but anyway, I will look. So, but just to clarify, I will send, whatever I have, the family trees, but how else can I be helpful to you and to the researchers?
I guess just any kind of, if any questions arise, if just available to answer questions, and I guess doing what doing some research about the, Max's more specific place of birth, or anything that maybe is not already on WikiTree, already available online, if you can find it.
Got it. Oh, Chris says there is a competition between the weeks that
Right.
the team this week could beat the team next week. Okay, so it's not me. It's just
It's the members that are
teams.
participating.
But we could equivalent that
Yeah.
to the stars.
well, yeah, because I'm going to try to help. So if
Because Josh also says maybe best support from the stars. We could do that.
and I like stars are in quotes. If I do that, I think it's appropriate.
We'll have to get him a badge for his profile, a sticker that says first guest star of 2021. Nobody can top that.
Well, I will tell you, when we were trying to connect, because part of the goal of the Global Family Reunion was to actually break the world record for the most genuine cousins at a family reunion. And so Chris and Eowyn actually built a tool within WikiTree where you could see how you were connected to me, so that you could officially claim to be a cousin when you came to the reunion.
Yeah, you're our featured profile, one of our featured profiles of the week, so everybody can see how they're connected to you this week. either through marriage or direct
profile. Any member's profile, go down to the bottom. You can see how you're connected.
Let's see how I am connected.
Yeah, like Kevin Bacon. That is fantastic.
Yeah, we used to have Kevin. We're trying to get Kevin Bacon to come on.
It's a great idea. I wish I had a connection.
Yeah.
No.
I am 24 degrees away from you, AJ. I don't think directly connect. I don't think a direct cousin. No, it doesn't look like. But through marriage.
There you go. I count that. Because I always say, like I feel like my wife's brother's wife is a real relative, and she's through marriage. So why should it not count? Why should marriage not count?
Yeah, Chris said the reunion was the origin of the connection finder. So anybody who didn't know, that is the origin of the connection finder. That's pretty cool. Usually people have a post to see who's most closely connected to the profile of the week. I don't know who's mostly connected to you. Doesn't seem like.
Well, I'm closer than you are, Sarah.
Huh?
Azure is 22. Greg is 26 degrees.
Yeah, I'm usually really far away because my family's weird.
You're 21? Oh, that's impressive.
Through your mom.
Yes, Benjamin, I have seen the connection finder, but not in a while. I got to check it out again.
Yeah, Benjamin's also our member of the week this week, so he's also on the connection finder. Benjamin Molesworth.
Love it.
He's also
and Joe, we're 25 degrees.
Rick is 27 degrees.
Hey, are you working on any new books?
I am working on a book. I guess it's kind of related in that I think that the WikiTree is like one big giant jigsaw puzzle, right? In some ways.
Yeah.
Because my next book is about my love of puzzles, all kinds of puzzles. So crossword puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, and it'll be sort of a history of puzzles and also me trying to solve the hardest puzzles in the world. And I've been having a good time.
That sounds fun.
It is fun to research.
Yeah, genealogy is a puzzle.
Right, genealogy is. It really is. It really is. It's a big jigsaw puzzle. So, maybe I should have a chapter on that. That's a good idea.
So Josh asked, I guess more for Mindy, are we going to have conversation groups for the people working on certain parts of the tree? I know there's a G2G post already posted for week 1, so that can be kind of a main thread.
And then we do have chat within the spreadsheet itself.
Yeah. I think Chris had tried to post a link, but Chris, links don't work on YouTube, so the link we posted did not work. But yeah, there is a Google Doc or a spreadsheet that people are working.
We have the spreadsheet, and it has listed the 8 great-grandparents, so they can go off of which of those lines that they want to and pick ancestors on those branches to work on or try and expand from.
Great.
Yeah, Chris, those links don't work.
Yeah, YouTube block, like you can still see the link, Chris, but like
It blocks it.
Yeah, nobody else can see the link. It's silly. But I know it's you have that link posted on the G2G thread. If it isn't already put on the top of G2G, I will make sure that it's one of the highlighted posts on the top of there. And
that's the link to this.
The spreadsheet, I guess, that people are working on for your family tree.
Great.
Well, you could pin the week 1 post, couldn't you?
And Chris is, well, and also just so you have it, my email is, the easiest one is aj@ajjacobs.com. But so you can feel free to email me, but I'll be sending most of my stuff to Mindy just for efficiency.
Yeah. Okay, so
Greg makes a good point here about the chat in the spreadsheet. Sorry to get technical on stuff here, AJ.
No.
but the chat on the spreadsheet apparently does not stay in place. Like if you leave and come back, it's not historical. So we probably do need to figure out a way to keep things logged so that people can see what other questions have already been asked and answered. We'll talk about that offline.
does anybody have any other questions for AJ about the challenge? Or AJ, did you have anything you wanted to say or any questions for us? Or I'm not sure.
No, I'm excited. It's going to be a fun week, and I will be back next week to we can discuss the findings.
You'll grade us.
That's right. Exactly. So yeah, no, I'm thrilled. And I'll work tonight on getting a bunch of stuff to Mindy so that we can get going.
Yeah, I know a whole bunch of people were extra excited about the challenge that they started a couple days ago, and Mindy was like, "Slow down, the challenge is not started."
They were already holding the gate and ringing the bars. I said, "You got to give us a couple of days."
I love it.
Greg says maybe we could add a tab for the spreadsheet for questions. So just a tab for questions that people can post and maybe the answers.
Perfect.
Okay. And Chris says, thanks, AJ. You're the perfect first guest star. We are excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. And yes, again, we will dig up and we will try. I look forward to finding the, especially the black sheep that Sarah wants, the horrible people in my past.
Yes, the black sheep.
No, I think you're a perfect first guest, and you have some very interesting people in your family.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I am thrilled. I do love, and yet the woman, my great grandmother, the one who the doctor yelled at for being too kind to her kid, she was a suffragist. So I love that because I think it was the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment this year. So it was exciting. There was supposed to be a parade that we were going to go to in Pittsburgh to celebrate, but COVID made that.
So it was interesting to pull up some of their biographies and their obituaries and read about them when I was digging up information. Very interesting.
Who did you see? And you remember?
I have to get in my 3-ring binder because I pulled up a bunch of stuff on them.
She already has a 3-ring binder on you, AJ.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's been helping me stock your branches. So
Well, thank you.
Well, I
Oh,
think
and Josh.
Elias Sunstein, is that how you say it?
Oh yeah. He
Yes.
was. Yeah, he was my. So he would have been my maternal my mother's father. Was Elias Sunstein.
And then his wife was quite active.
Right.
Also. Yes.
She was. Well, so I think she was the one who was the suffragist.
Yes, she was.
Right. So she was interesting, and actually they have my first cousin once removed is actually a well-known legal scholar named Cass Sunstein. I don't know if anyone's heard of him, but he is, and he actually married a woman named Samantha Power, who was in the Obama administration. She was the ambassador to the United Nations. So there's that connection. But yeah, the Sunsteins were very interesting. Yeah, I will send what I have on them.
Well, they have very lengthy obituaries, so they were very interesting to read.
Good.
the longer the obituary, the more important they were.
Yes.
Everyone's important.
It's true. That is also true. But I guess important and,
Right. I will say this I found out after I had done the book and done a lot of, but and I'll try to track it down who it was exactly, but it would have been on my maternal grandmother's side. So it would be like my grandmother's, I think her uncle or her second uncle was very involved in the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, which is where the massacre was a couple of years ago. And when I was reading his obituary, because I know he was one of the founders of it, and it talked about how he had really tried to reach out to the Christian community and create this sort of interdenominational movement. So, uniting all people of different ethnicities and faiths. And I thought that was so lovely and inspiring that, he was doing the exact opposite of what the horrible person who, he was trying to unite people.
Yeah. It's always so interesting to find out about your ancestors in these little stories. So that's what I guess we also hope that we can find extra stuff to put in your biographies as well to add some color to your profiles.
That is great. I would love that.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we can wrap up. We're about at the hour mark, unless there was any kind of final remarks. We will also, I guess we'll have you on next Wednesday as well. And if you have any more information or if anybody has any questions for AJ, you can send them to Mindy, or I'm sure AJ won't mind if you send him a private message too. He already said his email address out loud.
There you go. It's on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Mindy, should I private message you through WikiTree? Is that the?
Yeah, I'll send you my email.
Okay, great.
I'm not giving mine out during the chapter.
That's fair.
I'm not as brave as you are.
Mindy and I work together on our mentor and mediator projects. We get enough emails.
There you go. Exactly. Well, this
$200 and I'll give you Mindy's private email.
So with that, I guess we will wrap up. Thanks everybody for watching tonight. Thank you, AJ, for coming on and being a part of our challenge. We are really excited. And we will see you all. We do have a LiveCast on Saturday, kind of just doing a normal recap. But then we have our other WikiTree Challenge LiveCast next Wednesday. So we will see you all then.
See you in a week. And